answer. I'm sure Reverend John and Jan are going to add. I don't have an answer to the first question about how to do it, how we're going to create unity. It seems to me that struggle proceeds stage by stage. You do what you know how to do at a certain moment, and as circumstances change, you do another analysis and you take another step. I don't know that anybody ever has the answers at, from the beginning point, but you keep working. So for unity, it's the same thing. We know that we're going to be more and more under a very oppressive right-wing assault and onslaught coming to us in so many different ways, from illegal legislation, lack of constitutionality, to outright violence against us, right? In all kinds of ways. We know that that's coming, so we know that we need greater unity. But all we can do is step out where we are now towards that end, and hope that as we continue to advance, the unity begins to emerge on a greater level than it is right now. I think it's important to think of the movement as a movement, not something you make decisions about and then do, and that's the end of it, right? You have this sense of, that's where I'm going, and this is how I'm going to get there. You may have an idea of how you're going to get there, but things change as the circumstances change. So you have to always be ready to step back, do more analysis, reconfigure your plan, and get ready to move out again. There was a second half of your question, too. What was the second half of your question?
How to deal with quote-unquote Uncle Tom's and Aunt Jemima's.
Right. That was one of the things that Brother Rob called us to do in his book, right? Is not to be afraid of saying to our brothers and sisters who would betray us, you are betraying us, we see it, right? To call them out. And it's important not just to call them out, but to inform and educate others around us, right, to understand the dynamics of things, right, and to understand when we're being betrayed, right, by certain people. So I think we're getting more courageous at doing that here in Detroit lately, because we've had so many traitors who call themselves our leaders, right, and we have had to step up and call out a lot of folks, right? And I think we shouldn't be timid about it anymore, because we're at that level of struggle and at that level of jeopardy and danger as a people.
I just want to make a couple of comments on Leona. I think we have to perceive, we've been bombarded with a whole lot of different reasons for the crisis that we're in. And until we get clear on that and clear up some of the fables, we're going to still have difficulty getting unity. I mean, JoAnn has been saying for years what this guy last week ended up saying in his report about it's not the question of legacy costs, it's a question of revenue. JoAnn has been preaching that all along. But now we got somebody else that said it, maybe somebody else will listen. But until the position you put out there gets clear, and we slide away and scrape away all the other lies about how we got there, we're not going to be clear on how to fight. I remember looking at a little old video called Going to Chicago. And it was a movie about the out-migration from the South to the North. And they showed a newsreel that was played in 1942. And the newsreel came on and says, robots invade the cotton fields. And then they showed International Harvester that had these great big huge cotton picking combines that hit the cotton fields and picked more cotton than the whole plantation system could pick. And the next 2 days they showed all those sharecroppers with all their stuff sitting on the road, that they were evicted from the property that they rented. Everything they owned was thrown in. Nobody thanked them for all the cotton they picked. Nobody thanked them for making the plantation owners rich. They were just thrown off the land. They were fortunate enough to have some place to go. Most of them came to North, and hit the Industrial Revolution and got works in these auto plants. But I remember in 1979 when Dodge Main got closed, they closed over 30 plants in this city. Now you tell me how you gonna close 30 plants? So all those people in the street, they got no place to go. They didn't put them on the road the next day. They gave you a pink slip, and it took you a couple of years before you got thrown out of your house. And then you had to leave to go somewhere else because there was no place else to go. You tell me Chrysler Corporation used to be the largest employer in the city of Detroit in 1966 with 60,000 employees.
That's right.
They don't have 60,000 employees on earth now today. You tell me that's the crisis that we got. And the new article I just read, as the robots fit to hit agriculture, they got mechanical orange pickers, mechanical grape pickers, mechanical waterers to water the stuff. Sooner or later the technology is going to kill us. We're not going to have the jobs, therefore we don't have the people, then we don't have the revenues, we got all that. Until we get clear on the way we got to turn and who our enemies are, we're going to still stumble like this.
That's it.
Thank you.
I just had a quick comment. I'm not one for a lot of words. I'm more action-oriented, as some of you know who know me. This has been a beautiful experience for all of us who are here today. But we have to look back to our history. As Aneb knows, as JoAnn knows, our history, we're repeating. I mean, it's nothing new under the sun. And if we go back, look at our history, teach our children our history. See, we have been at fault in that we have, many of us, have been negligent in teaching our children our history. And until they know who we are, until we demand respect. I mean, every time I see a young brother with his pants below his waist, I have to say something. I have to say, you know, you're too handsome to be wearing your pants like that. Or did you know, what's up? That's not acceptable in our community. We have to be on the front line of teaching our youth. And we've not done enough of that. The media is attacking us and has always attacked us. We have professionals who are in the media who are trying to combat that. But until our folk know our history, and until we believe in those old Southern down-home values, you know, where there is a supreme being who will lead us. Obviously, this family was protected by divine intervention. Y'all hear me? This man was a man who in his community was trying to do some things and was bombarded with some negative results of what he tried to do, and the Creator protected this man and his family. That's obvious. That's obvious. And Aneb and some others who are here that are precious to who we are in our community. We got to teach the truth. We have to teach the history. We have to expose our children to all these programs. We have to start educating our children. We're the only group that has let other people educate our children. And look what's happened to them. They don't respect you. They don't respect the community. I'm telling you how it is. You know, so until we get involved, until we can show love for each other too. You know, this is the same stuff we've been going through. Then maybe we can get to where this brother's just mentioned. Until we have some economic power, we're not going to get no respect from this man, and may not get it then. What are we going to do with our economic empowerment if we pull our monies together, our resources together? We need to read Marcus Garvey. See how he did it. What can we adapt? As Aneb said, we can make an assessment, and from that evaluation move forward with the skills and the history that we have. And the divine intervention that is ours if we claim it.
That's right.
If we claim the divine energy that we have, I don't even want to go there, y'all. I don't even know how to express it. But there's a love there that we should have. And wherever we can be, we can do something positive that will affect the community. We're needed everywhere. So that's just what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Reverend Charles. Should we close or take a few more comments or what?
This should be the last question.
Okay.
We have just a few more minutes left before 6 o'clock, so we probably won't have time to do any more book sales or anything. We need to be wrapping up real soon. Right, like 5 minutes.
All right, Dad, this question is for you. So you mentioned how your inspired by Robert by listening to the radio station, and you made your way over to Cuba, you and Charles. So I was wondering, what was his reaction to you making it over there to Cuba to come meet him? And did you write ahead of time and tell him you were coming? If not, how was his reaction to you guys making it over there, all the way over there to see him just from his radio station?
Well, let me say this. Charles might want to add to it, but obviously we couldn't tell nobody where we was going. We had to slip out of here. I tell people that story so many times. We got notices saying that we'd been rejected for the trip, and then we'd been accepted. We were given instructions to get the Greyhound bus and go to Chicago and get a room in the Piccadilly Hotel in Hyde Park. Once we got there, we got a phone call said, take your bags and stuff and go to the Grand Central train station. We got there, we met with a contact that put us in a cab and took us to the airport, and then we got on a plane and flew to Philadelphia. When we got to Philadelphia, we got another flight to Paris. Okay, so now it was four of us traveling together. Other students had left Frisco and New York the day before, the night before, but we all met in Paris, all 84 of us. Once in Paris, then we caught another flight to Czechoslovakia. In Czechoslovakia, we got a Cuban plane, and it stopped in Ireland and Newfoundland before it got to Cuba. So we had to fly halfway around the globe to get 90 miles from home. So obviously we couldn't call Rob ahead and say, look, we'll be there soon. We don't know. But when we got to the Havana Hilton Hotel, Rob was sitting there in the lobby waiting on us. He was coming, and he had a better sense of when he was going to get there than we did. So it was like homecoming then, you know. Rob took us in, we went back met the family, and he just tutored us. He taught us all the stuff we needed to know.
Wow. Just before we end, I want to give some props to the Cubans, by the way. You know, they have been receptive of our revolutionaries repeatedly, and as Councilmember JoAnn knows, they have been receptive of our young people wanting to learn to be doctors, wanting to become doctors, and they have been educating them to be doctors, free of any charge, right? So we owe a lot to the Cubans. We owe a lot for their interventions in Angola, Mozambique, all over the world, right, bringing their idea of humanitarian support to the people who need it. So, hey, hey, hey for the Cubans.
And at this point in time, I would like to please have everyone stand and acknowledge our wonderful, fantastic panelists. We have had a wonderful afternoon here of knowledge, spiritual connection, physical connection, and an opportunity to